Welcome in to the first show of the new season on Thursdays of SportsZone. Come join us Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Either or. I'll be your host, Brendan O'Donnell, for the Thursday show. Today we're going to be talking about UNT women's basketball, the Kyrie Irving trade, NBA All-Star break, so stay tuned for all of that. Starting it off, though, with UNT women's basketball. The team currently sits at 9-15. Not as good as they've done in the past seasons. 17-13 the year prior, 13-7 the year prior to that. Haven't been able to put it together. Joining me to get more in depth today, we've got Jay Lathan and Kendall Keaton. Guys, what's going on this season? Jaden, can you tell me why we aren't winning these games?
Team-wide, shooting has just not been great, as the team is shooting 66% from the field, from the free throw stripe, and 42% from the field as a whole. And they're just turning over the ball way too much, as they're averaging 17.2 turnovers per game. That's a big issue.
And Kendall, for you, what do you think? Why hasn't this team won as much this season?
I agree with Jaden. Their turnovers are pretty bad as well. Rebounding-wise, they could try to fix that because offensively they have it, but then defensively they struggle with it. They could drive the ball more to the paint. Shooting threes is not working out well for them, so like taking it to the paint, drawing contact, drawing the foul, and shooting their free throws would help them as well. Sweet.
Well, they've got the Conference USA tournament coming up, 6 games left in the season. Now, every team makes it in the Conference USA tournament. It just depends kind of where your seeding is going to be, whether you get your buys or not. Jaden, starting with you, what's the expectations for this tournament? Can we put some wins together, get some decent seeding?
This UNT team is definitely going to have to string some wins together because, first and foremost, if the season ended today, they would have to play a playing game against FAU, which would ultimately lead them to having to play #1 ranked Middle Tennessee. And if you're a team that's still trying to figure it out, you don't want to have to run into a juggernaut like that.
Kendall, what about you? What's the expectations?
Of course, we want them to make it, of course, far. But like if they don't switch anything up, then down the stretch they won't make it. So.
Now tonight at 6:30, they've got a game against La Tech. Now we've lost to them already once this season, 81-66 in that game. What can we do in this game? It's a must-win for us if we want to get something out of the tournament, make a run at it. What do we need to do to win this game, Jaden?
If we want to win this game, you're going to need 2 key players to help out with your guard, Quincy Noble. Tamisha Lampkin, she's a defensive anchor. She leads the team with 6 rebounds a game and 1 block per game. And she really just anchors this team defensively. And then number 2, second scoring option, Kendall McGruder. She's a guard. She's averaging 9 points a game, is second on the team in minutes, but she leads the team in turnovers with 3 turnovers a game. If she could manage some better efficiency, I think that would help this team win.
And Kendall, what about you? Key players for the game?
I have Anaya Johnson. If they give her some more minutes, utilize her more, because she shoots really well mid-range-wise. So if they give her the ball, let her drive it to the paint, create contact, make her free throws, then they should be well off. I feel like she's a big threat to them if they can utilize her more.
For sure. And looking back at Quincy, just one of our best players, how do you think she's performed this season compared to some of the other seasons? She's a junior this season, 3rd year here.
Well, statistically speaking, if you look at her stats, she's gotten better every year. But my biggest critique right now is that she's an inefficient scorer. Yes, she averages the most minutes on the team. She leads the team in scoring with 16.8 points per game. But she's only shooting 43% from the field. And that's inefficient if you're going to be on the court more than everybody, taking more shots than everybody. It kind of becomes a vacuum if you're not on that night.
And Kendall, for you as well, what do you think our final record's going to be? We're sitting at 9-15 right now. We've got 6 games left going towards the end of the season. How do you think it plays out?
I feel like if they could win this game tonight, they can finish out strong. So they'll end with they'll finish maybe like 3rd in the conference. So hopefully they finish off strong.
All right, well, that's all the time that we have for this block here. We've got the Mavs coming up after this, looking into the Kyrie trade. Haven't seemed to have been able to get a dub with Kyrie and Luka on the floor. We'll find out why. Stay tuned after the break. And welcome back. Now we're going to get into the Mavericks, looking into the Kyrie trade, see what that's all about. But first, we're going to look into the game last night. Joining me, I've got Tyler Luker and Mark Barrera. Kyrie didn't even play last night. We'll get to him later. Don't worry about him. Last night with Luka on the floor against the Nuggets, we couldn't pull out the W. What went on in that game, guys? What went wrong? What went well? We'll start with you.
I mean, What went well was Luka obviously scoring 37 points. But, I mean, other than that, we got out-rebounded by at least 9. Jokic got another triple-double. I mean, defensively, we couldn't stop a soul. We made Jeff Green look like prime LeBron James. So he's dropping 24 on us. So, I mean, overall, I wasn't expecting us to win last night, especially without Kyrie. And then the Nuggets are the number 1 seed. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Luka did his thing, and hopefully they'll just regain it after the break.
Yeah, sounds like the normal loss in our season.
Right.
Luka scores a lot of points. We get out-rebounded. The other team plays great. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Over to you, Tyler. What do you think about the game?
I mean, there was good and bad, but the good was Luka, of course. But the team losing by 9 without Kyrie is a good sign, and they're really ailing right now, so the rest on the All-Star break is going to really help them going forward. But the bad was the second quarter. Jason Kidd was talking about it. They got outscored 35-19. It was a 1-point game, and it totally got away from them. They couldn't come back into it.
Well, hopefully we can get some W's together coming out of this. Luka and Kyrie, do y'all think it's going to work? I know y'all love some Kyrie, love some Luka. Can it fit together, though? We'll start with you on this one, Tyler.
100% yes. Kyrie has played with LeBron. He's played with many great players, and him and Luka can play isolation basketball. So it gives a little leeway to both of them when one of them's off the court, and I think it's going to work out.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely agree. Kyrie and Luka are going to be an amazing dynamic duo. So, I mean, you saw the preview of them the other day, despite in the loss against Sacramento, both dropping 36 and 33. It's going to end up gelling, and it's going to end up working. So I'm not worried at all about them gelling together and working.
For sure. I think it's going to come together for them eventually. At least now we have 2 great ball handlers. After losing Jalen Brunson last season, it seems like we struggled there a little bit. If the ball's not in Luka's hands, I might be crying. So I'm a little happier now that we've got Kyrie on the team. Now, the West got a lot stronger after the Kyrie trade. A lot of other players getting traded to the West as well. So looking at the Mavs now, sitting at 31-29, can we get to a good seed? What is the expectations for us in the Western Conference?
I think the expectations should be at least getting home court advantage, at least reaching that 4 seed. The West, everyone is within about 2-3 games of each other. So I think the highest the Mavs would get is at least 3rd if Sacramento decides to drop. But I think home court advantage should be the expectation for the Mavericks.
I agree.
You as well.
I mean, yeah. I agree. I wouldn't call the West weak, more so competitive. But we saw this kind of last year. The Mavs, they were kind of meddling around January. They went 17-6 after the All-Star break last year. If we can see that happen again, I see them climbing from the 7th seed that they are now to probably that 3 seed and getting home court advantage.
Now, looking at the season as a whole, what do y'all feel like are the season struggles? What's been ailing us for a long time? We'll start with you on this one, Tyler.
Finding a way to win without Luka. I mean, we've seen the Luka heave every single game that they lose where it's close. They like to double Luka in the clutch, and I think Kyrie's going to help. We are very injured right now, and the defense needs a lot of help, especially inside. And I think it'll improve.
Yeah, piggybacking off of Tyler. Our defense just needs to get better, and I think when Kleba gets back, and even Hardaway, I think they'll contribute to that. And I think just it comes down to rebounding. If you look at our last 6 games, the 3 that we won the rebound battle. And then in the 3 that we lost this past time, we lost. So I think the rebounding is what's going to make the Mavs win.
I'm with you 100%. This team is one of the worst in the league at rebounding. I'm thinking if this team doesn't rebound as well as Pete Davidson after a breakup halfway through the season, we're struggling. We are struggling right now. Now let's take a look over at Luka out of the lineup. They actually won 2 games in a row with him out, Kyrie in. Is this team better with Luka not in the lineup?
It seems just like such a silly question. No, it's not better without Luka. This is Luka's team, whether Kyrie joining or not affects it. Even Kyrie said it. He has 8.6 win shares. That's 4th in the NBA, 33 points per game. It's his team. He's been great. And I think Kyrie helps it. But they're going to learn how to win together as time goes on. No, Luka, that's a weird question. I wouldn't ask.
That's a clown question, bro. To quote Bryce Harper, that's a clown question. Of course,
I had
yeah.
to ask you. I had to ask you, man.
mean,
we couldn't win within the lineup. They haven't won together yet.
I mean, it's been 2 games, Brennan. Come on now. But I don't know. Obviously, I mean, Luka carried us to a Western Conference Finals last year. I think saying that the Mavs are better without Luka is just an asinine statement.
I mean, we're like a lottery team without him.
Yeah. So I know. Luka is definitely our guy.
I believe you. I know. I'm playing around a little bit. We've got a 6-game home stretch right here, though, where I think this is when it can come together. Hopefully, Kyrie can come back from injury here. If we can get the chemistry in this 6-game home stretch, I think this team's really got a shot to put it together, get the seeding like y'all were talking about, get one of those home seeds. But that's all the time we got here. We're going to look towards the NBA All-Star Weekend, do a bit of a draft there. Team Giannis versus Team LeBron. Stay tuned. Come back after the break. Welcome back in to take a look at the All-Star break. Joining me for this, I've got Gabe Ife and Isaiah Ortiz. And they're also going to be doing some drafting later on in this. Gabe over here is Team LeBron. We've got Team Giannis here as well. But to start it off, there's a new format for this NBA All-Star Weekend. They haven't drafted the players yet. Am I crazy? They haven't done it. They're doing it the night of the draft.
Oh my goodness.
What do you guys think of that? What do you think,
Personally,
Gabe?
I kind of like it. I think it gives that backyard type, this middle school, elementary school feel. You know, at least I can relate to it. I'm sure millions of Americans that will be watching the game can. You know, when you're young, playing games with your friends, you pick out the 2 team captains. But in this case, it's some of the best athletes in the world doing it. So
yeah, I'm wondering kind of why the coaches are there. They're not really doing any preparation up to the games. They just kind of get the teams that LeBron and them pick. Yeah. What do you think of the format, Gabe?
Yeah.
Or Isaiah, sorry.
All good, yeah. It just reminds me of, like you said, just elementary school basketball. And what I'm wanting to see is, will it be kind of like reality television a little bit, where like the guys at the last pick is going to take it personal? I want to see those live reactions.
Sweet. Well, let's look into the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. Some of the most crucial parts of the All-Star Weekend. When people think the game is lacking, they look to the dunk contest. Let's start with that one. Isaiah, who do you have for the dunk contest? Who's winning it?
I'm going with Mac McClung. I believe he's on the Sixers right now. If you were familiar with Mac McClung, watching him overtime, ball his life, you know this guy can absolutely dunk the ball. And I think we're going to see some special stuff Saturday night. He's
got highlight reels after highlight reels on YouTube. I've seen them myself. Gabe,
personally,
who do you have?
Give me Jericho Sims. I think this man, back in 2021 during the NBA Draft Combine, he had the 3rd highest ever vertical. He tied for the 3rd highest ever vertical. Coming from playing at the University of Texas, I had a lot of experience watching him and just seeing how insanely high he can jump and how athletic he was. And so I know his dunks are just going to be crazy.
I'm excited for that as well. Sticking with you, Gabe, who do you got for the 3-point contest?
This might be a little underrated, but I have Damian Lillard. Now, he's only shooting around 38% from 3, but I know the lights are never too bright from him. Still, a lot of my memory of him is making that buzzer-beating 3 against the Thunder in the playoffs. I know Saturday night, the lights aren't going to be too bright. He's going to do great.
And if anybody's going to make those baskets that are 6 feet off the 3-point line, it's Dame Lillard.
Yes,
Dame time.
I got to go with Buddy Hield. He is the definition of a microwave basketball player, and the 3-point contest is perfect for that. Plus that 4-point zone we didn't see in 2020 when he won. I believe he'll use that to his advantage as well. I think he'll break the all-time record for 3-pointers.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited to see all of that on Saturday night, but now for the part I'm most excited for. We're going to be drafting the All-Star roster ourselves. And I believe Team LeBron's got the first pick. Am I right, Gabe?
Yes, I do.
Perfect. Well, with the first pick, Team LeBron, who do you choose?
I am going with Luka Doncic.
Oh, a homer.
Yes, the best offensive player in the NBA. So teaming up with LeBron, I think it'll just be dynamic.
That's perfect. Over to you, Isaiah. Who's your first pick?
I got to go with the MVP frontrunner, Nikola Jokic. That high-low duo of him and Giannis will be unstoppable.
Gabe, are you sweating a little bit?
A little bit. I kind of had him down on my sheet. But I'm going to go with the 3rd pick, Ja Morant.
That's a great pick there. Why do you got Ja?
Ja can be so explosive. His highlights are insane. I think having those 2 guard combos of Luka and Ja is just, I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop those 2 combined.
I like your roster so far. Isaiah, what are you going to do to compete?
I'm going with another big man. Give me Joel Embiid, averaging 33 points per game. I don't know who's going to stop that front court. Giannis can move over to small forward. Jokic can distribute the ball. That big 3 should be unstoppable in the All-Star game.
That is a lot of hype for your team. I'm liking it, though. Now we're getting into the deep part of the picks. How are you really going to round out your team here? Team LeBron, what do you got?
Well, it's a little tough, but I think to give me some good versatility on the court, I'm going to have to go with Jason Tatum. Now, he's been having a great year for Boston. He gives me a little more of that size that I'm going to need to try and stop Jokic and Embiid, and I'm going to have to go with him.
Tatum, that's a good sleeper pick right there. Not even a sleeper pick, sorry, my bad. That's a good steal as the fourth pick, fourth to your last pick in the draft. Over to you, Isaiah.
Give me the human highlight machine himself, Kyrie Irving, the newest Dallas Maverick. Should really round out all the big men we have on the court, and he'll get a couple ankle breakers in this game as well.
Well, we're down to Donovan Mitchell and Lauri Markkanen. So it comes down to you, Gabe. Whoever you pick, Isaiah, I'm sorry. I believe that's who you're handed as your last player on the team.
All good.
For the starters, at least. Gabe, who do you got?
I am going with Donovan Mitchell. It gives me a little more versatility with point guard or just being a guard. He's been so great this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm really excited for him on my team.
Which leaves it down to you. How do you feel about your team looking at it at the end? Is that who you were hoping to get with that last spot?
Well, no, I have Lauri Markkanen as shooting guard, but honestly, I think I have the advantage because this is a big man's league now and anybody can play any position. I'm really not worried about it.
Well, let's get to one more. Let's get to that sixth man of the year type player. Who's going to be the first person coming off your bench? I'm going to give it to Team Giannis on this one. I'm going to let him pick first out of this wide pool of players. You get to decide. Who you got, Isaiah?
This is perfect. I'm going with one of my favorite players, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I need another guard, and why not get a guy averaging 30 points per game this year?
Feels good. Feels good that OKC has some relevant players again. Back over to you. You get the same thing. Giant pool of players. Who you picking last pick?
Yes. My last pick, have to get a little more size. I'm going to go with Paul George.
There we go.
Yes.
One of the best two-way players in the league. Now that's it for this NBA All-Star break. I'm loving this All-Star draft. You guys got great teams. We'll see if LeBron and Giannis pick from these guys. I thought they did pretty good there. Coming up last, we got NFL Bowl of Takes. Stay tuned as we look into the NFL offseason. Welcome back to the last segment of the day. I know, it's so sad. It's all right, though. We're back next week at 5:30. I'm your host, Brendan O'Donnell, so stay tuned next week. But for now, let's end it off with an exciting bowl of takes. We've got the NFL offseason. Bunch of questions about it put into a bowl. We'll see what we get, and our analysts are going to look into it. We got analysts Brandon Brown and Matthew Watson here today to discuss our first question of the day.
Let's do it.
Which team that made the playoffs this year won't make it next year? Start with you on this one, Brandon.
You know, give me the New York Giants. You know, I like this team. I like Coach Dayball. I like the kind of progression that Saquon and Daniel Jones had, but it did seem like they kind of limped into the playoffs. I know they beat the Minnesota Vikings, also a team that's kind of on the bubble, but I don't see them quite making it in a more stacked NFC East this season.
Matthew, for you, same team, different team?
Well, he chose the NFC, so I'll go to the AFC. I don't think the Ravens are going to make the playoffs next year. I'm a big Ravens guy. I'm a big Lamar believer, and I just have my doubts that he's actually going to stay there. And I think the team that could replace him is in the division. I think either the Browns or the Steelers could replace the Ravens there, you know. I just think that they're not going to have Lamar.
Well, let's see if we get anything else about Lamar in here later on. But for now, what positions do the Cowboys need to grab from the draft or free agency? Any one specific? You can go into player if you want, or just talk about the positional need. This time, we'll start with you, Matt.
I think they need to go wide receiver. You know, it's at this point in the NFL where the team that wins has either Patrick Mahomes or the better weapons, and you don't have another star wide receiver too. If you go to the draft and you get another star wide receiver too, say like Quentin Johnston, Jalen Hyatt, maybe in the later round because you pick at 26, then you're there. You know, you're at where the Eagles were, you're at where the Bengals were. You know, that's all you need.
I'm going to go on the defensive side of the ball for this one because I don't believe Van Der Esch stays in Dallas. They need more depth on that side of the ball. I think linebacker's the way to go, although receiver is a really good position pick as well.
That's a good point.
All right.
About defense.
Well, we got to keep these questions going. We got a lot of them in here. This is a good one. Is Patrick Mahomes already a top 10 all-time quarterback? Brandon, what do you think?
Yes, sir. Two-time Super Bowl winner, two-time MVP, passing yards leader. He's amazing. He's going to win many more. One of the most exciting quarterbacks in the game, easy a top 10 right now.
Already got a Hall of Fame career as is.
Yeah, and he's only 28 years old.
He's got at least 10 years minimum. Matt, what do you think?
100% agree. I mean, it's outrageous to me that, you know, I'm going to go out and throw out a hot take out here. Why is John Elway in anybody's QB top 10? He is not a good QB. He was never a good QB. He had great Hall of Fame players on his team. You know, Patrick Mahomes is years better than him. Ben Roethlisberger is years better than him. Those guys are easily going to replace those guys in top 10 all time. So, yes, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Brandon said it. I mean, his resume speaks for itself. It's easy. Top 10
Hall
of Fame.
Yeah, he got them with Sharp and TD. So,
yes.
Yeah, I see it. Who did Patrick win with this year?
Oh,
Juju.
I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
That right there, this
Clyde
right here, and
Edwards-Helaire.
Travis Kelce. You know, a bowl of takes.
All right, next question we got. Perfect. Will Lamar Jackson be a Raven next season? Matt, you seem really passionate about this one all year.
I just, you know, I'm a big Ravens guy. I have been. They're my second team. I got the Cowboys top. But, like, I just don't see him staying. They have never really provided him enough weapons. And, you know, as a quarterback that keeps getting hit, he keeps getting back up, and he's just looking around. He's like, okay, I just have Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews to throw to.
If they're even playing.
Yeah, okay. And I see my constituents throwing it to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and oh my gosh, I'd rather have that than this. So yeah, I think he's probably going to leave. And I would look at the Jets. You know, they just said today that they may look into Lamar. You know, I think that's a good team to look at.
I don't know. I'm going to have to disagree with you there.
Really?
Well, I don't think Lamar stays in Baltimore long term. I definitely think he's on the move. They're definitely going to tag him this season. And I think unless the Ravens receive a king's ransom for him, I don't see them trading him just yet.
Oh, yeah.
He's too valuable to that team.
They would have to receive, like, so many picks. Because, I mean, as soon as
And
he
a
gets
quarterback,
traded, they're
I
going to
feel
have to, the team that trades for him, going to have to give him a contract.
Yeah.
It's going to be a top
Make him
contract.
the top contract.
Yeah,
More than
likely.
Mahomes, probably.
It's going to cost a lot of money.
Oh, my God.
All right, we've got a lot of takes left and only a little bit of time. We're going to do a little bit of a lightning round.
Okay.
Just speed takes on
All
what
right,
you
let's do
think.
it.
Start, bench, cut. Lawrence, Hurts, Herbert.
Start Hurts, bench Lawrence, cut Herbert.
Wow, that's a tough take. I wish you could get into it. Over to you. Who do you
I think he's right. I think I would go with the same thing. You know,
I love Herbert, but
I love Herbert too, but I think
wins?
Lawrence is turning into the guy.
You got to look at who wins games.
Lawrence is becoming that guy. All right, up next. Pick one. Who should the Cowboys keep? Leighton Vander Esch, Tony Pollard, or
easy.
Schultz?
Pollard.
That's easy.
Pollard.
That's easy.
Top 3 running back this
Obviously,
season.
it's
Pollard for
It's
sure.
Pollard. And then next would probably be Schultz, but yeah, it's easy,
Yeah,
Pollard.
can we put Zeke on that list so that he has to leave as well?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
We can only dream.
Is CeeDee Lamb a top 5 receiver in the league?
Heck no. Heck no. He's okay. Top 15, maybe.
Top 15? I feel like
Heck
he's
no,
at that
he's
point where
top
he could be
5.
fringe.
I disagree with that. I think he is top 5. I think he proved last year that he's top 5.
What?
I think the wide
I think he
receivers,
is 5. Like, I think
What did
he's
he make,
number
like
5.
1,005 yards this season?
1,300.
That's pretty good.
That's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
That's
And
not
he
as
had
good as
Cooper Rush
Tyreek,
throwing
though.
to him,
Okay,
and Cooper
but
Rush's
Tyreek
favorite
is
to
top
target was
5.
Noah Brown.
But
Besides the point.
Cooper Rush is the best
Besides
quarterback
point,
in Dallas,
last
though.
one.
Tyreek's
Give
top
me
5
one
either
player
way.
that has their breakout season next year, just by name. That's all you got. Who you got?
Trayvon Walker.
Wow, that's a big
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Comeback season.
I'm going to go with Breece Hall.
Breece Hall
Yeah.
off the ACL.
Yeah, off the
I love
ACL.
it.
That's good, too.
Well, that's all we got for tonight's show. Come back next week for our second show. Going to be just as amazing as the first. Follow us at ntTV_sports tonight for the La Tech show with the women's basketball team at 6:30. We will be live tweeting for it. Thank you so much. Join us next week.